Hi, it's Rabbi Aharon coming to you today from the Chutshel Chesed Yeshiva in Yerushalayim, Israel, under the direction of our beloved Torah scholar, teacher, and spiritual guide, Rabbi Shalom Arush Shlita. Now, we all made it through Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, didn't we? Mazel tov. This is a great thing. For those of you who do teshuva every day, it was not such a big thing for you. You were going into Yom Kippur virtually clean already. Now, for those of you who don't do Hitbodedut every day, and who don't do teshuva every day, it was probably one of those cram situations over the last week between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. What did I forget? What didn't I ask for forgiveness for? Who didn't I ask for forgiveness for? What have I got to do? What have I got to do? What have I got to do? Well, if you're here, you were successful so far. Because now we're done, right? No, we're not done. We're just starting. We're just starting. What did you do when you do teshuva? We've explained this several times. 1, you say, I'm sorry for what I did wrong. 2, I ask your forgiveness. I beg your forgiveness for what I did wrong. 3, I'm going to change. I'm going to do better. With your help, I'm going to do better. So, if you're going to do better, that requires the fact that you have work ahead of you still. And you do have work ahead of you still. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Some of us think, when I go to my shul, or I go to my yeshiva, or I go to my seminary, I see people around me, and I know they're frum. I know they're observant. I know they're close to Hashem. And they don't do this, and they do this, and it's maybe not so right, but I know how close they are. So if they can do that, I can get away with it too. Well, what you're missing here is the fact that you don't know their whole life. You see the life that you see. You don't see the life of what they live when they're away from you. You have to be worried about you, not about how do you compare to other people, not about what they do and what you think you should do in comparison. At the end of the day, there's only one person you need to compare yourself to. That's you, yesterday. Are you better today than you were yesterday? If you are, then you did your job. And that's a good thing. Because you see, we talk about Mashiach coming and the final redemption. And we realize that it's the redemption of the entire Jewish people, of the entire world. But it's also a personal redemption. Each one of us has to work to bring ourselves closer to Hashem. Remember, that little spark inside of us that we call a soul is just a part of Hashem. And our goal is to do what? To get back, to get closer, to keep that spark always charging, always close, always yearning to be close to Hashem. So that's what we have to do. We have to be sure that what we're doing is working and we're getting closer. Now, as I say, things aren't always what they appear. Sometimes our perception is a bit off. And I'm going to give you a small story to illustrate. And I hope you like my stories. There's a story of an elderly gentleman, much older than me, of course. And the elderly gentleman goes to his doctor and he says, doctor, my wife, I believe, is losing her hearing. And the doctor said, how bad is it? He says, I don't really know how bad it is. So why don't you do this? Let's see how bad her hearing is. When you go home today and you open the door, say something to her and see if you get a response. And if not, go 10 feet closer and try again. And if you still get no response, go 10 feet closer and keep doing this until you're right next to her and you do get the response. And then we'll know basically how bad it is. So the man said, this sounds like a pretty good idea. So he goes home, he opens the door and he says, honey, what's for dinner? He hears nothing. So he goes 10 feet closer. Oh dear, what's for dinner? He hears nothing. So he goes 10 feet closer. Sarah, what's for dinner? Nothing. Finally, he gets right up behind her and says, Sarah, what's for dinner? She says, for the 4th time, chicken soup. You see, Sarah wasn't the deaf one. the husband was a deaf one. But that's not how he perceived it. But he was wrong. Now, until you know what the situation is, not just how you perceive it, how it really is, you just can't fix it. You have to know what the situation is. You have to know where you are. Now, people come to me all the time. They say, Rabbi, I don't need to do shomer halachot. I don't need to be totally observant. I don't need to be kosherist. I don't need to keep Shabbos. Hashem, He knows what's in my heart. And my question is to them, you really want to go with that one? I don't think you do. Because you see, if you go through Psalms, you go through Jeremiah, you go through the books of prophets, you go through the book of Psalms, you'll find something very interesting. It tells you again and again and again that your heart is a liar. Is that how you want Hashem to know you? You want Hashem to know you as a liar? Of course you don't. You want Him to know what you really are. And if you're trying to get better, that's a good thing. If you are someone who has not been very religious in the past, and you say, Rabbi, I don't know how to do this. It seems like so much. It seems like so much, and I can't do it all. Well, if you say that, you'd be just like me before I started my journey of teshuva. Because that's what I told my rabbi, Michael Myers, up in Chicago, Illinois. And he was very wise. And he looked at me and he says, Aharon, let me tell you how you do this. There are already some things you do, right? I said, of course. He says, okay, so you draw a line in the sand and you say, this is what I do. I will never step over this line again. And then piece by piece, item by item, you begin to add things. And one day, you'll look back and you'll say, wow, I've really come a long way. I didn't say I came all the way. I said I came a long way. And he was right. Because today, here I am talking to you. So, what I need to get across to you is that it's a journey. It's a journey for everybody. Those who do just a little, who are just a little ways towards getting to Hashem, and the rest of you, and the rest of us, who are closer to Hashem. We think, look how close I am. I'm a tzaddik. Well, not a tzaddik, but okay, I'm a tzaddik. No, we're not tzaddikim. That's the Yetzer Hara telling us that. It's to get us to slow down on the progress that we're making. So what we want to do is go past the Yetzer Hara. We want to go past where we are today. The journey is a journey for life. It is never finished. It is never complete. Each day, we hope, brings us closer and closer and closer. And what we want to do is we want to get closer to Hashem every day. Those of us who are just starting, and those of us who've been on the path for a while. So remember, things aren't always what they seem. The people who you think might be the most observant, they have flaws too. We have flaws. We may not be as bad as we think we are. We just have to keep going forward. At the end of the day, remember, the only person you have to compare yourself to is you yesterday. If you're better today than you were yesterday, you did your job. Having said that, let's all look forward to a beautiful Sukkot and a beautiful year ahead. Let's make every day count, every day full of gratitude, every day full of teshuva, every day full of joy. Let's make this year a great year, a fantastic year, a year of joy and fulfillment. Be well, my friends. All the best.